Good morning. I have all of my makeup on, ready to do my eyes. This is the way that I do it. I always do my lipstick first so that I can set my color palette for the day. I hate when I put my makeup on and then I put my lipstick on after. I'm typically not happy with it. So this is the way I begin. I would also like to, let's see if I can find my brush. I like to take concealer. I have 3 different colors. I use whatever color tone. If I'm going with warm colors, I'll use maybe a velour. If I'm going with cool colors, then I'll use something like, give me a lighter color here. I'll think of the lighter color in a minute. But anyway, what I do is put the concealer on my hand so the warmth of my skin will warm it up, okay? So we're going to just dip in it, and I like to carve out my eyebrows. And basically what I'm doing is I'm making sure that my lines are straight, but I'm also giving myself a highlight while I'm at it, okay? So I have a flat cream shadow brush, and that's what I like to use. And I like to give myself that clean look. I'm going to put it all over my eye, actually. Use it sparingly. Don't gob it on. I do put a little bit of concealer above. All right, now I will be 59 in a month, okay? So I've been elected to talk about what shadows to use, how to do your eye to be age appropriate. Because let's face it, we've got more wrinkles, we've got hooded eyes. I actually have 2 different eyes. And what I'm doing is I'm looking beyond you in a mirror. Because one of the main things you want to do is you want to look at yourself straight ahead. So if I look at myself straight ahead, this eye is hooded. See what hooded means? You can barely see the lid. This eye's normal. We deal with what we've got, right? Okay, so I want to look at myself straight ahead. That's number 1. I'm going to use only matte eyeshadows. Glitter tends to age us and tends to go in our fine lines and wrinkles. So what I'm going to start with is a very basic flat color. I believe this is Timid, and it's kind of like a flesh tone. And I'm just going to go in here, and I'm going to cover my lid and go up a little bit just to kind of set the concealer. And I'm just using a big fluffy brush that's clean. I always keep a dry, rough towel on my makeup table so that I can rub my brushes and have them clean again so that we're not transferring color from one to the other. Okay, these eyeshadows have built-in primer, so that's really nice. Wherever you put them, they stay. All right, so now I am going to go with a pale pink color right there. And I'm going to go not in the crease because you will not see it. We're going on the bone above the crease. Because if I just jam it in here, you're not going to see it. So I want to hold my eyeshadow brush way at the end so that it gives me a very light touch. I don't have much control over the brush, which is good because it means I'm not going to add too much. So I'm kind of going back and forth in a windshield wiper, and I'm looking at myself straight on, and I'm kind of holding this sideways so I can see what I'm doing. So I just want to highlight this bone right here and just go back and forth all the way to the corner, but not down. You want everything in an upward motion because you don't want to drag your face down. Okay, so you can see that. It's just a slight difference, but it adds depth to your eyes. So we're going to go back in that pale pink. And I'm just going to do, again, in that little windshield wiper motion on that bone. You can always add more and build your color, but it's best to go on light in the beginning because you can always add to it. Okay, so I'm just going windshield wiper back and forth. I'm actually going to stop. I'm going to rub my brush on my dry towel, and I'm going to go back, and I'm going to just rub it in all over. My eyelids are not sticky from the concealer because now I've got powder on top of it. Okay, so I feel like I have that color where I want it. I just wanted it fake. How about faint? Okay, so we got that. Now I'm going to go in, I want to go in a shade darker. Oh, and I can't see the name on it. Let's see. It might be Slick, okay? So this is kind of a plummy, pinky purple color. I'm going to dab. I'm just going to dab my brush, and I'm going to tap it. And I'm going to tap on the end. I'm just tapping. And see the pigment? That's why you want to use just a little bit at a time. So I'm dabbing and tapping. I have not changed brushes yet, okay? So I'm using the same exact brush, but go from light to dark. This way it flows evenly. So I'm dabbing. I'm dabbing not on the corner of my eye, but again, on that brow bone right above it, okay? Right there. And I want to keep it to the corner. I don't want to pass where the color starts on my eye. So I'm just dabbing it there. Dabbing. Now I am going to switch brushes. Just to a nice, soft blending brush. And I'm going to go, like I said, hold it on the end so you have very little power behind it because you want to be soft-handed no matter what you do, because you don't want to blend this so much that you don't have that color. So I'm kind of just doing like little circles, but always moving in an upward motion because I don't want that color coming down, because then my eyes will come down, and we know we need all the lift we can get. And you can achieve things just by illusion, and that's kind of what makeup is. You want to keep that lid light. You don't want that lid dark because it's going to age you, okay? So if you are in my age range, which is over 55, you want to keep your eyes not too dark because they do get muddy looking, okay? So I haven't put any more shadow on. I'm wiping this brush off as I go. It's got a nice purple hint to it. And that's all I'm going to do with that color. Now I am going to take this smaller brush of ours. It's got a smaller bristle. It's a little angled, and it has a pad on the opposite end. I think now I really want to anchor my color. I want to go with a little bit darker underneath my eye. I don't use eyeliner. I always use shadow. I rarely use black. If I use, a dark brown, which this is probably marvelous, I just, like I said, dip, just pat it in, and then definitely tap off the excess. And I want to go underneath my eye. So I'm looking up to get those lashes moved. And again, I'm just tapping. I'm going from the corner just to where the color starts on my eye. If I went all the way across to the inner part, I would make my eye look smaller, and my eyes aren't big to begin with, okay? So again, I'm not going to go on the lid. I'm going to go up above it just a little bit. Remember, above that crease, so you're on that bone, and just tap in that color. Just tap, tap, tap. Nothing heavy, nothing light. But see, that looks like black. It looks dark, but it's not. It's brown. So it's softer and more forgiving I always use brown in place of black to get that dark color. So now I'm going to do what? Wipe off my brush again. Wipe that off. Wipe it nice and clean on a dry, rough towel. And then I'm going to just take this and pull it in, not to move it, just to soften where it stops. So I just want to soften the edge of that. You don't want anything to look like that, like the color's there, what you did. I'm going to take my blending brush again and just blend this ever so slightly because I don't want it to disappear. I want that dark part there. Okay, so what have we done? We've brought everything up and open. If you leave that inner part light, you've got it open. So maybe I want to pull that color over just slightly, just ever so slightly. Just what's on my brush. That's all I wanted to do. Now, I do not do eyeliner or anything under my eye. I don't want to make them look smaller. I'm going to use liquid eyeliner. And what I do is, first of all, our liquid eyeliner, shake it till you hear that little ball bearing like a nail polish. And the way that I do my liquid eyeliner, this brush is perfect. It doesn't really, the amount of product on it is perfect. But what I want you to do is start not at the beginning of your eye. You want to start towards the center because you don't want to have too much product on that brush. So we're going to go right in the middle, kind of sort of in the middle. I'm not drawing a big thick line. All I want to do, I'm getting as close to the lashes as I possibly can, kind of on that lash line, because all I want to do is enhance my lashes. I don't want a big stripe because, again, I'm going to make my eye smaller, is if you look at me and all you see is the eyeliner. Now that the excess product is off my brush, now I can go back with this exact same brush. I did not dip again, and I can go in the beginning. And you know, it depends on your eye shape, whether you even need the liquid liner towards the middle. Totally up to you. That actually is probably a little bit more than I wanted to use. So I'm going to take this clean brush. This is the pad part on it. And I'm going to kind of wipe it a little bit. And then I'm going to take this brush in the color that we started with. And I'm just going to brighten up the inner part of that lid and make sure it's covered. What I don't want to see. Okay? Now I don't even know that I'm going to redip this. Okay? So I'm going to start again towards the middle so that I'm not having too much product on my brush. Then I'm going to go back and go towards the beginning. Does that make sense? And then I just try to keep it on my lash line and keep the line fluid so there's no skid marks, stop and start. I have not dipped again, and I'm going to just try to smooth this out. I'm not doing a tail. I'm going up a little tiny bit on the end, and you know what that's going to do? That's just going to make my lashes, it's going to look like a lash. So I wouldn't call it a wing because it's really not. It's just a little doop on the end, and it will look like a lash. And if it's too much, I just take my brush and I tap it. And then the powder on the brush will stick to it and make it a little lighter. Does that make sense? Yay! Okay. Probably, the wind is kicking like crazy. Probably you should curl your eyelashes. Always before you put product on them. Do not curl them after you have product because you don't want them to break off. You don't want to damage them in any way. And depending on the shape of your eye and the structure, your bone structure. I have several eyelash curlers I can't use because I can't get I can't get it on my eye. So if you want to use an eyelash curler, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Now I just have to find my products. I have everything laying everywhere. And I'm trying to find this is a lash primer. And what that lash primer does is kind of prepares your lashes, prepares the surface, just like if you were painting. You would prime it first, right? Just to prepare the surface to adhere well to the other products. So I'm going to use a little bit. I don't do the bottom because I don't want my bottom lashes like overpowering because they're not very long anyway. So let's go on here. Now I want to let my primer sit for a minute so that it gets tacky but not dry. I'm going to look at my eyes and I'm going to say, how does it look? Is that the colors I want? Am I happy with it? Does it go well with my lipstick? I know I overthink, but that's what I enjoy. So I'm going to say, ooh, this color is really pretty. So I'm just going to dip, tap, and I just want to put a little bit on top of this just to give a little more of that plum color in there. Don't be afraid to try. You can always wipe it off, okay? These are all magnetic, and we have many different magnetic cases. This way you don't have to worry about that eyeshadow falling out. Okay, so as you can see, I've had no fallout. Nothing has fallen on my face from any of the eyeshadow that I've used, and I've used a ton of it. So now I am ready for my mascara. My lashes are nice and tacky. So I've chosen to use my 4D fiber mascara. There's fibers in the mascara. They are not going to fall on your face. They're not going to flake throughout the day. Even if I sleep in it, which I shouldn't, but I do often, it is going to, it's like, it doesn't smear. I don't wake up with raccoon eyes. It's interesting. So I'm going to go as deep into my lash as possible, almost till I hit my lid, till I can feel it in there. And then I wiggle it up so that I'm actually raking through every single lash. If I do this, it's like brushing your hair just on the surface. The underneath is going to get matted. It's not going to look as good, okay? So we want to go in, hit that lid, wiggle it up. There's two different sides to this brush, so I just rotate the brush as I go. It's like rubbing your stomach and patting your head. You'll get the hang of it soon enough. And now this is also layerable. So I'm going to let that dry. And now can you see what I'm talking about? If my lid was not light, all you would see is like all that darkness. Okay, so you want to keep that lid light. And the light underneath your eyebrows just makes you look like, ooh, I'm surprised, which is good. We want to keep everything looking up. All right. So we're going all the way to the base, wiggling up and through. All the way to the base. Wiggle up, rotate that wand, get those fibers attached. They're Y-shaped fibers that attach to your lashes to make them look thicker and longer. And I know you really can't put mascara on unless you hold your mouth a certain way. Right? Isn't that weird? If you think I'm kidding, watch people's videos when they put mascara on. Everybody's got a face. So I just get to the base, wiggle up and through, so that I'm raking through it's not clumpy, even though it looks like I'm putting a ton on. See how nice and separated the lashes are? I know I have bags under my eyes. I know I have wrinkles. That's me. That's who I am. I don't use filters. I don't worry about it. I am not here to look perfect. I am here to make myself feel better. Makeup is my higher power, so to say. It's like if I wake up in the morning and I do not put my makeup on and I stay in my bathrobe, that bathrobe, what it does is holds in all of my creative energy and doesn't let me get my day started. If I do my hair, do my makeup, I'm wearing a hoodie, I'm wearing a sweatshirt. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. You feel like you can do anything. You can conquer the day. So, makeup is to empower you to be the best you can be. Not to transform you into someone else, but just to be the best you. If you have a particular problem with your eye shape and you need to figure out, hooded eyes, I told you, make sure you go above. Eyelashes eyebrows that make you look like you're frowning all the time. You can always draw them in. You can draw them differently. So there's always something that you can correct with makeup to be the best you. I hope this has been helpful. I never do my hair till last, okay? Because I know that I'm going to touch it and have makeup and stuff like that. So, thank you for watching my ugly hair, and I hope you learned something about eyeshadow. Have a wonderful day.